OKFM 101.7.
Okay, 101.7. Yani Mustapha Gbandi ending in Komo. Or your Deputy General Secretary Eddie Ma NDC Amanyukono. Agemos me watching.
So Ambassador Kwame Tikase.
My Josu, Your Honor. Now, am about China de Matienie. Sir, Amanyukono Mwakoshia. And I'm why she said, one more, His Excellency, Reverend John Dramani Mahama Nadaroma. One more post biano. Say we YouTube, we organize, we Bibian for post no to sanity.
Yo, ofamenda wase. Amse na say makako shebin to krumu kakra. Sadi okusi ya no. Wa bebbo me wusi no etimi anope ye de aban. Na amse nra yekushia party National Executive Committee meeting. Samba kwa bepi mu sadi okay. Na onse Omanpenyi eye bibia eye novelty the winning ye Omanpenyi decided that he will explore human resource experience at a work party. So most, and for the first time, most of party executives right from grassroots constituency level, national, and they are appointing one into government. It's a different thing from the past. NDC penny na appointing. This time, most of the appointments came from 7 officers of the party, which is a good thing because Obia wako kum upon a wako a hunt your president.
Wako ahayo.
Wako ahayo nwakum akrantie no. You don't anya pe ni ekope abro abaman biedi. So but also the thinking is that political parties are a war machine. Even though they are entities, these organizations must always be ready, functioning strong enough to be able to win any competitive race as far as elections are concerned. So they've been the consideration. Say, okay, one more, you appoint to one more free party positions into government. No, saying ye na party no timi na juma na government also I do abba by musa bua man pe no on 3 man no wetimi a contribute the required and expected output input to help the president fulfill his vision and build a country. Sindra koya debate in terms of the various school of thought considerations. And in the end, there was a very illustrated scenario. Majority leader, I think all of us stood on that. He said we should give it some time and think through and study the implications more. Now, I said, party no be koswa na juma na aban so atime na juma. The interesting thing is that Omanpenyi did what he did because of he said the party must be close to the grassroots. Now, regional secretary. Now, what be a regional minister? You would have already served as a regional secretary. You know the region properly. You know the terrains. You know the demographics. It becomes easy for you to function as a regional secretary, other than Obia Afe ni Adeneba or Obibisase. We are in contact with him. Obibisase half of him. But you already know the ground. You would have been to all of the places. You are more familiar with the problems of the terrain. So it becomes easy. And on the political side, you would have been known by your party people when they want to assess your office. It becomes easy. And the same applies to all other positions, functional executive and executive members. They are appointed to them. It also gives the leverage that we are party officer. So we are going to be in Piauka. Now, and I'm so what a muja now one who they were an agency. I want to near my human class a year. Now, we are so Robert Gibitriauka. Ye Triauka, Saturday, oh, sorry, Unya by a Juma now, Koya party a Juma. Who do salary bedding, bet me up for now on Zaka Koya Juma. And so we are considering all of these scenarios. A general secretary, national chairman. The by almost in it, he said, they don't belong to any of the school of thought, but they think that we should discuss it and come to a certain conclusion with the matter. Into my instructions that the parties at the regional level should go back. Woman could share constituency for woman discuss it at that level, so that in our next meeting the issue will be tabled again for consideration.
Now, but when I hear
Madam Kakra, medium and Kahubi.
Now, my Musadiwi, when a branch account, a fair constituency count, regional answer a national quan.
Reach from constituency to national.
Oh, okay.
Now, even the positions in Ukraine, and no general secretary, national chairman, actually, I appointees in Nana affected woman. There are some category of appointments. When you have received that appointment, conventionally, you ordinarily would have to resign. That is what has been happening in the past. But because these mass, novelty, we must consolidate the vision of the president in taking that decision, thereby finding ways to get the party to function properly. And but who to say we are DC now, we are constituency secretary and our organizer. You are the president at that level in terms of decentralization. Who represent your opinion? It become practically impossible. Say, secretary some free meeting, now secretary of this assembly meeting. So we are trying to see how the system can function well. The other school of thought are Omkasa. So we are secretary, now we are DC here. So deputy or so I didn't know my deputy didn't function. Now on to party, you man report to mouth so that we come. So there are various scenarios here. Consider, and there are various appointments that have been considered. Maybe anything almost that because I live between government and party,
okay. Now, my main way, where you are moving, and no constitution, no sanka obesa and Kawadia, a straightforward, said your constitution can be made, and answer where ye novel to say the Okan.
One was that President Muhammad, the first president, in fact, in the history of this country, what bomb what they are 20 party for the door. What reward party for baby.
Yes.
So it's one, a novelty. Two, institutions like the NDC, learning from my superiors, is not only run by constitution. The institution is a living entity. And as people continue to increase and day by day time changes, there must be policies and decisions that organs of the party can do or can take for the betterment of the entity. And this is one of such decisions. The Constitution itself mandates in cases like this, we should go back to functional executive committee meeting. Mute the idea. A committee, national chairman, general secretary, set up committee headed by some few national executive colleagues. I want to consult to a detail and the report and that report is required to go before National Executive Committee, which involves the region majority members in parliament, omo reps, and appointees, no aba na ya jojo ehon ya hwede e betimedia. So it's not really a constitutional matter, but it's a matter that can be remedied with this particular procedure also. The other ones who feel that okay, I didn't know yama will be a anchor. Now in the next 1 year, no election ba. Now ya a rule that we are appointee ya won't mean contest the election there. By that time, you have served your term as a party executive prior to your appointment here. The amount you would have finished serving that a year. Or the party no any fee. So they are
I see. Another development where the farmer party no the ben na mo be shians na mo asadwendwe ho na come to a conclusion.
The yes no as study see no atitene for no penny for decided given the we woman region for no woman constituency for no and kasa no input to honum so that by the next 1 or 2 months I bet biem no nanka we have a vast consultative information I bet me aboa ama yehu babia yade asam ne beto a bebo apart.
I see. Na mamimra say what the development is so e koso e wo aha ba ko e say Dr. Kwabnado for Attorney General no ni na ye nhyehyeye say sika na ekodi wo mo anaye oman sika no so tumi tuam 60% wo man no e be jai case no ana e be drop case na manaka ema wono so ene nkofo kan ho na iris no maye ema ehunsema ebebrebe matese Franklin kujukura ase ana ne emu at 100% isan say say na tie ena afei nipa bia e ka mra so say first you must be convicted na ye convict we are na mom ya kan kire say ye hold ana adin in suspension or in abeyance na mom ye hold in abeyance no a wo want me and triat say the koye bia ma case de na enu mom and ye plea bargaining process no ebe adwuma nkobo we what to as a student of law it was saying
our comment you see anya abrebia na ebe politics and the NPP must know that eduru baby a sabi impreduasa ye de nyame so ebu mama na yeye na oye fa no ni ye de nyansa e de abata ho na ye de nipa ho do we have all ina nim say the banking sector clean up tenofurata di edim no it was fraud. Not only fraud, but it was also flawed on the basis that one, banks here can afford to or banks, or my compliance problems are or no, and overcoming. The higher
but there was a year a Sikafri Bank of Ghana by so capitalize it as Escano, Akwatia Basanti na Omaye.
Capitalization is always good. But I'm saying, sir, the banks, we are not yet to say the banking sector cleanup was a bad decision. The way a manner they went about it.
Okay, so cleanup no ye bad. Saying justify the actions of the bank.
I'm not justifying, but I'm saying, sir, so uno u bank na aban ni uka aban triaka. Na ye say ye sika say wo bank no a new bank nti ye gunu na aban so ena ye obi a ode wo kapa. Do you think it's fair obi a ode wo ka so asa e wajuma? We have all come to, we have moved past this conversation. Ye nyina je tum say even the decision without considering the number of employees are displacing women. and the difficulties that decision posed to people who have invested in banks, depositors, investments, and Akwatia, and they cannot get even their money. You all have agreed.
You know, sir, Sabia, we a project work cry. You say a case study of this. I know you narrow say a buying and this is Free Bank of Ghana. Ama directors and board members of a bank say you say they are on the verge of insolvency. In T sanity, they are money and I establish say because before so you do say no omagia to say ampa there was an embezzlement of a sort. Na baby and conform when say I then the 100% in na.
A moody 100% in says to 20% to say 60% to. And no, idea this Attorney General and a answer because Attorney General and a war a power to undertake plea bargain and also exercise a knowledge protocol discretion. Now, conversation a cool between Attorney General and a suspect. No, Sebia, Onyambe Kasai, Yinim, and Kemahu Quine, Emma Attorney General Babon Team Bekasa, it will give all of us enough basis, enough information. Okay. Run is our conclusion, but maybe you will be Samia. I believe so, we should find a way of restituting all the owners of the banks. Now, there are other places that our government say who could restaurant now who could now baby sales can went to me and tria. Yes, London, you have more restaurant now in chance to say Usikan Besson. So be the Oka. One bezel fans. Na uwa kwambi so abetimi ama nipanabwa wabwa nipano na watimi ye jumetria oka. You rather advance towards that progressive method no than a method that won't give you anything. Now one more a prosecution and a jail will be who jail does that mean the money will be paid back? But I also think that we should allow the Attorney General who has a duty and the responsibility to explain his actions, either to the extent that he has taken that and it has a national security, a national interest matter. He should come and explain why, how, what went into the decision. Then, contribute to the discussion because at that point, there's a lead information we can rely on to make commentaries. But at this point, the Attorney General has and this is not the first time such a decision has been taken. We've seen it and seen it happening from the Attorney General always. And we should be asking the Attorney General, Branabe, I've heard say Felix Opozukwa Chika say, said, Attorney General will come out and explain that matter. And so you can I'm sure that it will give us enough fundamental direct information that will enable our appreciation of the issue. But I think I'm a very happy man because a can be a befaswa that banks no you goon you did politics goon no na dunia bank the end no other people banks me goon. And what even gives me the evidence that decision was born out of bad faith, it was captured in a fraudulent document. It was all captured in that document. Senanado be president Yebegu UT Bank, Yebegu Dr. Komne Dufo Bank, Yebegu other banks are almost a team for na. Document like that. What
me say bank no na etiapo anase na hang work mobile matimi aye sadie no
and I say for an Attorney General to get to this level say what take decision say what the say by betimi ajao what the say by betimi ajao it means that all these inquiries would have been made, all these investigations would have been made, so that the Attorney General is able to examine the effects of prosecution and the effects of a plea bargain. To come to this conclusion, it means that some work have gone down. And now, medical cars and Kiyama
okay,
Attorney General Bekasa will have enough information to comment. Me saying, baby, Attorney General Nejima, also Ambassador now okayfm. You don't have access to all the information that has led to the conclusion of the Attorney General. I've heard people make commentaries yesterday to the extent that, a knowledge protocol is not even good, and then why not 100%? Why not 70%? Why 60%? When the Attorney General comes to speak, and I think that when issues like this come, will take his decision.
okay.
Explaining what has gone into the issues, so that we don't drink the soup while the food is still on the fire. But my fundamental opinion is that I think that I support any decision that will help Dr. Kwabena Dufour, a very experienced former Minister of Finance of this country.
Former governor.
The track record is one of competence. Or yet, former governor of the Bank of Ghana. The track record was competence. If there's an opportunity to redeem an avoidable crisis, I think that I support that decision.
Okay. Now, Mamusa, no more castle being management. Say, most chairman general of your party, you were saying that you are also a GMPC Ghana Post and Harbours Authority chairman. Need you come one now?
An offer with my elbow on the bank.
Say, we are discussing.
An offer with ya, what the name could discuss is as him win. And she opens here immediately. Now, said I order.
Mama Kuria Chow, Kruay, and Chow.
Come for crowd.
Yeah, we are Akwatia. Yes, some more Akwatia. I'm more prepared for by-election. Electoral Commission for day to mine. And to my day.
Oh, what? So you a friend then. Ablekumanofi. The NPP for TSM. Hey, one man boy and Wakotia. One man to true Wakotia. One would say Kamba Wakotia. As someone may can know of a kwame. Ye bet Chimanuko see Simina Sumeba Pacho. Makai Sada Nano Person and New. And ne NPP executives Ashimukna. One more fertilizer, 2 more, 1 more can ye. So I'm the second in two. You be kunipa wa kotia because 1 more bunipa wa blekuma. Enya, yes you, yeah. The MPP, enna, more MP no, even though so a union. 1 more call Congress and put none year. 1 minute silence and for Timia observe it in honor of that particular individual. Now, the committee will observe 1 minute silence in honor of him because he's a young man. Now, Obia Ayewo, you are the one shouting and drumming war. Sir, yeah, Baba Jamu, ye ba umbabu yang. And I got for now, one war for them. On table, NDC MPP a omu Akwatia and tokwa ni womu ntem womu sori dabida enhwe muja na mu ahowo a mu ba be ko election wo hodo mu se mba ko hwe muja enti e ko ne akoko hwe se na nkrantem be ni MPP for the akoto ho whilst we are waiting for the date say if it is ayi say parliament through EC every declare by election that bia ye kwa ko hwe se MPP for once kind and can't tell in tune a woman labor corner. Woman started the car now, Monko. You see, overcoming NDC way and your party are threatening a move. And let the MPP know. Let them know, sir, the current crop of people leading the NDC are not people you threaten, intimidate, and believe that you can use bravado and all sort of shenanigans to intimidate. We constitute a threat ourselves. NPP should not have the effrontery to threaten anybody. We will go. If they declare the election, the leader of the party who is the president, the national chairman of the party, and the general secretary decides that the NDC will participate in that election. The only motive the NDC be kwa Akwatia say ye kwa kope wo mo chow na omo toaba ama an NDC candidate, because Akwatia honum no NDC for win it, NPP for so win it. So the balance of probability say any party can win is very high. But the NDC is in a possible lead because there's evidence of good governance. That is Nanado's region. MPP4 has a responsibility to go back and pinpoint to say, in fact, Atiwa, but the President Nanado free at the back of Tiano, a 1 hour drive. MPP4 would have to show 8 years and Nanado be president, and then the Western war, a whole more. You bet me, I can say, MPP party, no. Woman fast for woman the free MPP and Nanado 8 years, no. You would have to show Akwatia Udra and Sumpo Munyabi no manum. Koko, Ukoa, most of the people there are Ewes and then the locals. And a mine in Koko no way. Koko Jumai, a good honum. What is the MPP going to say? Say a coin 1 year or yeah, and now say toilet no almost see. And now factory been almost see 8 years. Yabeka and another backyard in here. 1 more toward the MPP, Chiria Bessine, and Paswa Womunya. Kwame, there's nothing like that in Akwatia. MPP for the business. And I say, Brabonine Subambonia, Womudine, even as a political party, a Bessin in Net. Near Monday, yeah, one party for 8 years, I come the woman. Woman to me, 7 months in your own lose election. And to me, who say, my young grassroots, young power macho. Me and you do one more cafe. You buy ya mobra pack. Nemum, a chance to move yet. Not grassroots, then find a woman. One more thing kind. And one more beaty war drums. And one more chatting for. Senior you be Huchali. Yet, Ejinaso, Ejina Yanayaswa, Yakwako yet a year, Yahe. Said the election, no, Tene, election, Neba, Yania Kotia for betting me a dinner. That is what we are doing. Unko Power Bar, patch on our deco. Umfa Akatabin Samunko. Takotia for Pentoqua. MPP4, Ebetre Womo. Takotia for a woman, one more for years. And Tokobia new woman. Now the MPP executive, top officials, Nana B, National Youth Organizer, and one more setting to Wamba Kunipa, Akwatia Fonso, Munia Bessoman were in fear.
And your mamma was an anopay.
Yamin Sao, Masada.
Miss Anadase. Over Mustapha Gbandi, a deputy general secretary of the NDC, and then I think one.
OKFM 101.7.